Welcome back to our channel. Today we're taking you deep into the wild and remote beauty of Capitol Reef National Park on a route few people venture down. This is the Cathedral Valley Loop, an off-road adventure packed with towering monoliths, vast desert vistas, and some of the most surreal landscapes in Utah. One of the highlights and challenges of the Cathedral Valley Loop is crossing the Fremont River. There's no bridge here, just a natural river ford. Water levels vary, so always check conditions before you go. The Cathedral Valley Loop is a roughly 60-mile backcountry route through the northern section of Capitol Reef. It's mostly dirt and clay roads, and conditions vary depending on weather, so a high-clearance vehicle, preferably four-wheel drive, is highly recommended. You'll eventually come across the rusting remains of an old water drilling rig abandoned decades ago during a failed attempt to tap underground water. A reminder that not everything thrives in this rugged, remote landscape. We stopped at the Bentonite Hills to take some photos of this otherworldly landscape, soft, rounded mounds streaked with reds, purples, grays, and greens. The colors come from layers of volcanic ash and clay-rich bentonite, which oxidize based on mineral content and moisture. It really felt like we were standing inside a painting, unreal and unforgettable. After about 17 miles on Cathedral Valley Road, we reached the Capitol Reef National Park boundary, marked by a simple sign in the desert. Since drone flying isn't allowed in national parks, we packed ours away and continued on, ready to explore the heart of Cathedral Valley.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
The Upper South Desert Overlook offers a wide, elevated view of a remote desert basin filled with colorful cliffs, rolling badlands, and a stark sense of solitude. It's a quiet spot that really shows off the scale and beauty of Capitol Reef's rugged terrain. A short drive farther brings you to the Upper Cathedral Valley Overlook, where you're treated to a sweeping vista of towering monoliths known as the Cathedrals. These massive formations rise from the valley floor like natural skyscrapers, majestic, weathered, and unmistakably named for their resemblance to Gothic architecture. Now down on the valley floor, we stopped at the base of the cathedrals, massive sandstone monoliths carved by millions of years of erosion. Up close, their sheer walls and towering heights are even more impressive. These formations were shaped as wind and water wore away softer layers, leaving behind these dramatic spires of Entrada sandstone. As we neared the Gypsum Sinkhole, the landscape became a showcase of volcanic history. Dark basalt boulders scattered across the terrain are remnants of ancient lava flows. You can also spot volcanic dikes' vertical intrusions of magma that slice through the rock and sills, where molten rock spread horizontally between layers before cooling. These volcanic features contrast sharply with the surrounding sandstone and hint at the complex geologic past of the area.
Weird rocks. Very weird rocks.
From a distance, we used a zoom lens to photograph some strange and fascinating formations perched on top of the nearby sandstone walls' weathered shapes that look almost sculpted by hand.
Oh, mercy. That's deep.
The gypsum sinkhole itself formed when underground gypsum deposits much softer and more soluble than the surrounding rock dissolved over time, eventually collapsing the surface and leaving behind this massive 200-foot wide void in the earth. Be cautious near the edge. It's unstable, and there are no guardrails.
Nobody shows you this.
Next, we backtracked a bit to the turnoff we originally took for the gypsum sinkhole, then continued on, passing more striking cliffs as our dusty journey led us toward the Temple of the Sun and Moon. Before reaching the temples, we made a quick stop at Glass Mountain, an incredible, sparkling mound made entirely of selenite crystals, a clear form of gypsum. This unusual formation is the result of mineral-rich water moving through underground layers and slowly depositing gypsum over time. As the water evaporated, selenite crystals grew, eventually pushing up through the surface to create this jagged, glassy dome. Up close, the crystals catch the light and shimmer like broken glass, giving the place its name and an almost magical appearance. Glass Mountain is closely related to the Gypsum Sinkhole just up the road. Both are products of the same gypsum-rich geology that lies hidden beneath the sandstone. From here, you also get a stunning view of the Temple of the Sun rising in the distance, its towering sandstone form framed perfectly behind the glittering crystals of Glass Mountain. A striking contrast between earth and stone, and one of the most surreal sights on the loop. After taking in the view, we made the short drive down to the valley floor, where the Temple of the Sun and Temple of the Moon rise from the desert like ancient monuments, massive, silent, and awe-inspiring up close. Both are composed of Entrada sandstone, the same rock that forms many of Utah's most iconic landscapes. Though similar in structure, the Temple of the Sun is taller and more sharply defined, while the Temple of the Moon has a broader, softer shape. Early explorers gave them their celestial names because of their striking, almost spiritual presence on the landscape, one bold and radiant like the sun, the other more subdued and mysterious like the moon. Together, they stand as timeless sentinels in the heart of Cathedral Valley. We walk right up to the base of the Temple of the Sun. No trails, no fences, just you and this towering wall of entrada sandstone. The sun was shining brightly that day, lighting up every ridge and crevice, and making the rock glow with warm, golden tones. Standing beneath it, you really feel just how massive and silent this monolith is, like time itself carved it out and left it here for us to find. Though the sun was just as bright, the Temple of the Moon seemed to cast its own quiet shadow, cool, subdued, and mysterious. Its broader shape gave it a grounded, almost solemn presence. Behind it, along the cliffs, more unnamed monuments stood in silence, rough outlines waiting for wind and water to sculpt them into the next great cathedrals of stone. As we left the valley floor, we took one last look back at the temples, reminders of nature's patience and power. Out here, time moves differently, and every rock formation feels like a story still being written. After leaving the monuments behind, we exited Capitol Reef National Park and continued our dusty journey across open desert toward the eastern trailhead at Highway 24, completing the Cathedral Valley Loop. Along the way, we passed scenic views and countless campsites scattered across the BLM land, wide open for dispersed camping. If we weren't headed for Moab, we might have picked a spot and stayed the night beneath the stars. We passed a guided tour group, a reminder that even if you don't have a high clearance 4x4, there are still ways to experience the magic of Cathedral Valley. Before reaching the highway, the loop took us through another stretch of Bentonite Hills, just as colorful and surreal as before, with soft layers of reds, purples, and grays rolling across the landscape. From there, we dropped down into a wide, dry wash. It was passable today, but these washes can turn dangerous quickly. Never enter one if there's flooding nearby, and always be alert for flash floods. Eventually, we reached Highway 24 and aired up our tires, ready to leave the dust behind and continue our journey at highway speeds. Cathedral Valley is remote, rugged, and unforgettable, where every mile brings a new view, a new formation, and a deeper appreciation for the power of time and nature. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed the adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps our channel grow. And most of all, we hope it inspires you to get out, hit the trail, and explore what's waiting just beyond the next bend.